clicking, scrolling, tapping, liking, sharing, anything. We think we want peace and silence and freedom and leisure, but deep down we know that this would be unendurable to us.
Let's talk about what this excerpt from 12 Ways Your iPhone is Changing You says, and it has to do with God and eternity and what we think about and what we do. Here it is. Quote, "We use digital distractions to keep thoughts of eternity away. Perhaps most subtly, we find it easy to fall into the trap of a digital distraction because in the most alluring new apps, we find a welcome escape from our truest, rawest, and most honest self-perceptions. This was the insight of 17th century mathematician and proverb-making sage Blaise Pascal. When observing distracted souls in his day, not unlike those of our time, he noticed that if you take away their diversion, you will see them dried up with weariness, because it is to be ushered into unhappiness as soon as we are reduced to thinking of self and have no diversion. Pascal's point is a perennial fact. The human appetite for distraction is high in every age because distractions give us an easy escape from the silence and solitude whereby we become acquainted with our finitude, our inescapable mortality, and the distance of God from all our desires, hopes, and pleasures. Driving every diversion from international warfare to international tourism is the promise of escaping boredom at home," said Pascal in his day. Quote, "I have discovered that all the unhappiness of men arises from one single fact, that they cannot stay quietly in their own chamber," unquote. Staring at the ceilings of our quiet bedrooms with only our thoughts about ourselves, reality and God is unbearable. Quote, "Hence it comes that men so much love noise and stir. Hence it comes that the prison is so horrible a punishment. Hence it comes that the pleasure of solitude is a thing incomprehensible," unquote. To be without the constant availability of distraction is solitary confinement, a punishment to be most dreaded. That is why in those moments when we realize we have forgotten our phone, lost it, or let the battery run out, we waste the captivity of a prison cell, or we taste the captivity of a prison cell, and it can be frightening. Today, Pascal might put it this way, quote, "We run away like conscientious little bugs, scared rabbits, dancing attendants on our machines, our slaves, our masters, clicking, scrolling, tapping, liking, sharing, anything. We think we want peace and silence and freedom and leisure, but deep down we know that this would be unendurable to us. In fact, we want to complexify our lives. We don't have to. We want to. We want to be harried and hassled and busy. Unconsciously, we want the very thing we complain about. For if we had leisure, we would look at ourselves and listen to our hearts and see the gaping hole in our hearts and be terrified, because that hole is so big that nothing but God can fill it. To numb the sting of this emptiness, we turn to the new and powerful antidepressants of a non-pharmaceutical variety, our smartphones," unquote. That's from 12 Ways Your Phone is Changing You. And ladies and gentlemen, if you think about that, that's true. People distract themselves to avoid thinking about their own impending deaths. They distract themselves to avoid thinking about meaning in life. They distract themselves to avoid thinking about, is there any purpose to any of this? They distract themselves because they don't want to try and investigate and answer the most important questions in life. Why am I here? What am I supposed to be doing? How am I supposed to live? What am I? Who am I? What's my identity? What's my destiny? Where am I going? Is there any afterlife after this? If so, how do I get there? Is there a heaven? Is there a hell? What is this all about? What am I here to do? Let me just look at the next TikTok video, or the next Instagram post, or the next Pinterest picture, or see what my friends are doing on Facebook, or look at that next YouTube video, because I just can't stand to contemplate reality.